This interruption-free, unabridged presentation of the Saga of Bullwinkle's Barometric Bunion starring Rocky and Bullwinkle was requested by my friends at The Beach House, located on Highway 115 overlooking the Caribbean in Rincon, Puerto Rico. The Beach House has family dining, a magical kitchen, amazing drinks, live music, and happy hour comes with a light show.
A thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle!
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun! Come on and join us!
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Our story opens today in, of all places, the headquarters of the Frostbite Falls Voice-Binder Company, makers of first-class voice binders for home and industry.
Gentlemen, there's a great question to be decided here today.
Yes, Mr. Brett?
On it may rest the future of our beloved company.
What's the question, Mr. Brett?
When shall we have the company picnic?
On the 4th of July.
Groundhog Day.
Very well, gentlemen, very well. We'll compromise and hold it on my birthday.
Yes, Mr. Brett.
One question, sir.
Keep it short, Parkinson.
Will it rain that day?
Rain? Oh, dear, no.
That is a puzzle, Parkinson.
What about asking Bullwinkle Moose if it's going to rain?
Excellent idea, Lumpley.
Thank you, sir.
Glad I thought of it. Miss Bleen, get me Bullwinkle J. Moose.
And in a flash, a call went from the town's largest industrial plant to one of its smallest houses.
Hello? Rocky the Flying Squirrel speaking. Oh, it's for you, Bullwinkle. Somebody else wants a weather forecast.
Oh, Baz Stairs. Just when I was catching up on my reading.
The Bobbsey twins at the seashore.
Yeah, you can't beat the classics, I always say. Hello.
Mr. Moose, Pongo Britt here. Will there be precipitation on my natal day?
All depends if you leave it out in the rain or not.
I mean, will it rain on my birthday?
Oh.
The date is June 10th.
June 10th, let's see. Oh!
Bad, eh?
Terrible. My bunion just got an awful twinge to it.
It couldn't be wrong.
Sir, you are speaking of my own personal prophesying bunion.
Oh, of course, my apologies. Well, gentlemen, I'll just have to change the date.
For the picnic, Mr. Brett?
No, for my birthday.
Yes, Mr. Brett. Yes, strange though it seems, Bullwinkle's Bunion is the chief weather forecaster for all of Frostbite Falls.
Yes?
Mr. Moose, how about our double header tomorrow? The paper says showers.
Well, my bunion says play ball.
Thanks to Bullwinkle's Bunion, no Frostbite Falls baseball game has ever been rained out. No picnic has ever been spoiled by showers.
But can't he do something about ants?
As a result, Bullwinkle gets calls at all times of the day and night.
Hello, can Mr. Moose make a forecast?
Well, he's asleep. Why don't you call the weatherman?
I am the weatherman.
Yes, each night Bullwinkle sleeps the dreamless sleep of a moose well loved by the whole community. Or he did, until one night when two mysterious figures crept close to the cottage, eased open a window, and slipped inside.
Hey, what are you guys...
In a flash, Rocky had been bound and gagged, and the figures turned their attention to the slumbering Bullwinkle.
You ready with that sleeping potion, Hadley?
Ready, Norbert.
Let him have it. You dope, you're supposed to take it out of the bottle first.
It worked, didn't it?
Come on, we got no time to lose. Which is the hoof with the bunion on it?
This one.
Okay, let's get started.
And while a baffled Rocky watched helplessly the figures wrap Bullwinkle's hoof in cotton batting and excelsior, and then build a small packing case around it. Unfortunately, Bullwinkle chose that moment to come too.
Golly, my hoof looks like it's packed to send to somebody.
Right you are, Palsy. Any objections?
Couldn't I have it gift wrapped?
Hadley, the sleeping potion.
Coming up.
And pour it out of the bottle first.
Like this?
Yeah. Now give it to him.
Right.
I give up. Let's go, and be careful of that prize Tootsie.
So carrying the unconscious moose and his carefully packaged Tootsie, the mysterious figures crept away into the night, leaving a furious Rocky thrashing helplessly behind them. Well, things have gone wrong in a hurry, haven't they? I'm sure you'll want to see our next episode, The Male Animal, or Bullwinkle Stamps His Foot. Last time you remember, Bullwinkle's weather forecasting Bunion had got him and his pal Rocky in a peck of trouble. Two mysterious figures entered their little house, tied and gagged Rocky, and used a sleeping potion on Bullwinkle while it was still in the bottle. Then they carefully packed up Bullwinkle's hoof and carried it, and him, out of the house and into the night. Sometime later, Rocky managed to free himself and grabbed the telephone to call for help.
Hello, Sheriff Wright. This is Rocky. Two fellas just came in here and took... Oh, hello, Mabel. Well, I'd like to talk to... Well, I'm fine, thanks. Could I speak... No, he's not so good. Somebody... No, it's not a cold in the antlers. Somebody stole his bunion. Oh, never mind. I'll go see the sheriff.
And in a twinkling, Rocky was zooming low over the rooftops of Frostbite Falls on his way to the sheriff's office.
I gotta hurry. Who knows where they're taking Bullwinkle, or why?
Good questions, those, for at that moment, at a nearby deserted airstrip, the unconscious form of Bullwinkle Moose was being loaded aboard a fast plane.
All set, you guys. Take off.
And the plane zoomed skyward as Bullwinkle groggily began to recover.
Let me off at 17th Street, please.
You bet, fella.
Hey, what's this on my hoof?
Why, it's the latest thing in moose shoes.
Yeah, notice the continental styling, the interesting texture?
Peachy. I think I'll step outside and look at it in the gyro.
Grab him, Hadley.
You fellas ought to get that step fixed. Fella could get an injury.
Get him back in the plane, Hadley.
Plane! Aha! I begin to see the light.
Unfortunately, Bullwinkle didn't see it for very long. Meanwhile, back in Frostbite Falls, Rocky and Sheriff Wright had just followed a double set of footprints to the edge of the airstrip.
Looks like they took him away in a plane, Rocky.
Well, let's go after him.
Can't do it, Rocky.
Why not, Sheriff?
See that there dotted line there?
Yeah?
That there's a state border. I got no authority over that line.
You mean?
Yep. You're making a federal case out of it, Rocky.
Well, then there's only one thing to do. I'm going straight to Washington.
And the plucky squirrel began a frenzied flight to the nation's capital to enlist the aid of the federal government.
But you gotta help me. My buddy and his bunion have been swiped, and
Let me look it up in the directory. My buddy. Yes, that would come under the Veterans Administration.
Is this the Veterans Administration?
Right. So you want to re-enlist, eh, soldier? Wonderful.
No, sir. You see, my buddy and his bunion have been swiped.
Hold it. Let's see now. Bunion. Ah, yes. Check with the health department.
Is this the health department?
Of course. Open your mouth and say ah.
But...
Not but, say ah.
Ah.
Hold it.
No,
You need glasses.
I have glasses.
So you do.
You see, my buddy and his bunion were swiped.
Swiped. Have you tried the FBI?
No, but I will. Is this the...
We'll ask the questions, fella. Name?
Rocky.
Occupation?
I'm a squirrel.
Problem?
My buddy, his bunion, swiped.
Tried missing persons?
I was already there.
Well, that's the nice thing about Washington.
What's that?
You always travel in the right circles.
And while Rocky desperately tries to get some assistance in his plight, the plane bearing Bullwinkle and his weather-wise bunion is traveling out over the ocean on its way to who knows where.
Don't look at me, Jack. I'm not tipping off the plot.
Maybe we'll find out next time in Burgled Bullwinkle or the Moose Snappers. Last time you remember, Bullwinkle and his weather forecasting bunion were being spirited away on a mysterious airplane to who knows where.
I know, but I'll never tell.
Meanwhile, back in the nation's capital, Rocky is trudging from office to office trying to get help for his friend.
Now, let's see. Does this moose have any distinguishing marks?
Well, he has a bunion that tells you if it's going to rain or not.
Well, in that case, you want the Weather Bureau.
I do?
Right that way.
And as he entered the door of the Weather Bureau, Rocky got his first glimpse of the modern miracle of weather forecasting. The batteries of electronic computers, the banks of teletype communicators, the sensitive seismographs, the automatic anemometers and barographs, such a magnificent example of automation at its finest that only one man is required to run the entire bureau, the chief forecaster himself.
Forecast room, top secret, do not enter. But this is an emergency.
And the plucky squirrel marched past the signs and into the forecast room. Then, strangely enough, he heard a familiar voice.
I'll have the forecast in a minute.
Gee, that sounds like...
Uh-oh. Looks like a tornado for Bloomington, Illinois.
It is! Captain Peach Fuzz!
Rocky, my boy. It's just super seeing you again.
But I thought you were head of intelligence. What are you doing in the Weather Bureau?
So Captain Peach Fuzz related the latest step in his checkered career. In his former job as head of G2, Captain Peach Fuzz had organized a huge network of intelligence agents, all of whom spent their time shadowing each other.
Psst, number 8. Why aren't you following me?
You crazy, Seven? This is Thursday.
So?
It's your day to follow me.
The good captain had also been very security-minded.
Here is the latest batch of documents to be classified, Chief. 20,000 leagues under the sea.
All about submarines.
The telephone directory?
My number's in there.
But the crowning moment of the Peach Fuzz career came when he and his agents surrounded what he thought was the hideout of a notorious group of foreign agents.
You're sure this is the right address, Captain?
Of course, I wrote it down myself.
Well, if you say so. Forward, men!
Peach Fuzz, what are you doing?
Oh, there, Mr. Secretary. Mission accomplished.
Congratulations, Peach Fuzz. You have just captured the Supreme Court building.
So shortly thereafter, there was a special meeting of government heads.
Well, gentlemen, where do we place a man of Captain Peach Fuzz's, peculiar talents?
What about the Federal Flamingo Farm?
The South Pole Penguin Census?
No, gentlemen, there's only one place for a man who is wrong most of the time.
Of course.
The Weather Bureau.
And here I am, Rocky. It just goes to show, talent will out.
And you use all those great machines out there to predict the weather?
Oh, I have a much better way. Look.
And the captain demonstrated the patented Peach Fuzz prediction process.
Now, Rocky, you read the name of a town.
Peoria.
Rain.
Oshkosh.
Sunny.
Skinny-Attlees.
It's either a heat wave or a snowstorm.
Well, what do I make it?
Unsettled. Now, what can I do for you, Rocky?
And as Rocky began to explain his, or rather Bullwinkle's predicament, the plane bearing the mighty moose and his Bunion were traveling farther and farther away.
Pretty soon I'll be out of the plot altogether.
No chance of that, for tomorrow we'll see a crown for Bullwinkle or Monarch Moose.
Well, now you're talking.
While Bullwinkle and his talented Bunion are miles out at sea headed for some unknown destination, Bullwinkle has long since been rocked to sleep.
Yeah, with my very own rock.
And his two captors are standing close guard over his crated hoof. Well, what can be at the bottom of Bullwinkle's Bunion?
My foot, maybe?
Meanwhile, in Washington, Rocky has just told his amazing story to the new head of the Weather Bureau, Captain Peter Wrongway Peach Fuzz.
So you see, we gotta get Bullwinkle back.
But why should the Weather Bureau help you, Rocky?
Because Bullwinkle's Bunion can tell you when it's gonna rain.
It can?
Yeah.
Then he's a valuable national asset. Get me the White House. Hello?
But in punching the button on his desk, Captain Peach Fuzz had inadvertently made connection with the Air Defense Commander.
Hello? What? Who is it? Right.
What is it, Major?
An emergency call from the White House.
An enemy attack?
No.
Big rescue operation?
No.
Then what?
We're supposed to intercept a flying squirrel.
Any luck, Captain?
I can't seem to get the operator. Never mind, we'll do it ourselves.
Ourselves?
Never fear, Rocky. Captain Peter Peach Fuzz is in command. Forward!
And the Phyllis captain marched out of the room and straight into a broom closet.
Gee, it looks like it's going to be a rough trip.
Well, that is the truth, all right, for as Rocky and Captain Peach Fuzz take off in the captain's tiny plane, high above them a half-dozen fighter planes are patrolling the sky.
What are the orders, Major?
Find the squirrel and force him to land.
And if he doesn't land?
It's an emergency. Shoot him down.
Bogey on the scope, bearing 00.
0, that means he's right under us.
Well, let's get down.
And the plane roared downward through the clouds, closer and closer to our friends. Then suddenly...
Pull up! Pull up!
Yes, the fighter command hadn't reckoned with the flying habits of Captain Peach Fuzz.
That's the new courthouse building, Rocky, made of Carolina limestone.
Look out, Captain!
Oh. Hey, there's new buildings going up all the time.
Yes, the captain's plane was flying so low that the fighters couldn't get anywhere near him. Of course, his flight over the city didn't go unnoticed.
Hey!
What's the matter?
An airplane just flew by.
Don't be silly. This is a bus stop.
I tell you, an airplane just flew by.
He didn't stop, huh?
No, he didn't stop.
Well, don't get sore. Maybe he was full up.
But the city couldn't last forever, and soon the Peach Fuzz plane had to emerge out into the open.
There he is, men. Peel off.
And the fighters started their supersonic attack on the clumsy, slow-moving plane. Faster and faster they went, and then...
Pull up! Pull up!
Sure enough, Peach Fuzz had reversed his course and was heading right toward the attacking plane.
Turn around! Turn around!
Unfortunately for the Major, his planes were going so fast that they were halfway past Ohio before they could reverse directions. But by that time, Peter Peach Fuzz's plane was out of sight.
How do you know what direction to go in, Captain?
Easy, Rocky. I just spin this wheel like this, and we head north-northwest.
That's a direction finder?
It found the direction, didn't it?
Meanwhile, in the mystery plane, somewhere up ahead, the pilot was following a scientifically planned course.
How come we keep changing direction, Iwan?
Look at this map, Norbert. Not even radar can follow us on this course.
No? Then who's that?
Sure enough, by sheer dumb idiot luck, Captain Peach Fuzz's course had neatly intercepted the mystery plane.
Captain, look! That must be the plane! Bullwinkle!
Okay, Hadley, drag out the secret weapon.
And in a moment, a deadly-looking instrument was aimed backward out of the mystery plane and zeroed right on our hero. Don't miss our next episode, Squirrel in the Scope, or Ring Around the Rocky. Well, last time, Rocky and Peter Peach Fuzz had caught up with a mystery plane bearing Bullwinkle and his weather forecasting Bunion. But as they drew near, Bullwinkle's captors aimed a strange weapon back at them.
Okay, fire, Hadley.
And from the oddly shaped muzzle came a huge cloud.
Hokey smoke, Captain!
Yes, it's a hokey smoke screen.
I can't see a thing!
Never fear, Rocky. I'll just zoom over the smoke.
But as usual, Captain Peach Fuzz punched the wrong lever. Instantly, the engine stopped and the plane plummeted toward the ocean.
Turn it off, Hadley. They won't give us any more trouble.
And the plane with Bullwinkle aboard flew on to its unknown destination.
I could have sworn that lever set up.
Never mind that now, Captain. We better start swimming. You can swim, can't you?
I can't say, really. I've never tried.
Uh-oh.
But I will.
And the Phyllis captain plunged into the sea and straight down to the bottom. Fortunately, Rocky was able to haul him back to the wreckage of the plane.
Gee, you sank like a rock.
Yeah, it must be the heavy sandwiches I'm carrying.
Heavy sandwiches?
I picked up this package of sandwiches at the airport.
Hey, this isn't sandwiches. It's an inflatable life raft.
Oh, fudge. I always do the wrong thing.
Yeah, but this time you did the wrong thing the right way.
And Rocky fired the cartridge that inflated the portable boat.
Well, there it is, Captain. Isn't it a lovely sight?
I ordered pastrami on rye.
Well, let's start paddling. Stroke, stroke.
And the plucky squirrel paddled bravely for hours. Little did he realize that in the other end of the raft, Captain Peach Fuzz was paddling just as bravely in the opposite direction.
Stroke.
Wait a minute, Captain. We're not getting anywhere.
With me, that's nothing novel.
Gee.
No, don't be discouraged, Rocky.
I'm not. I'm just worried about Bullwinkle. I sure hope nothing's happened to him.
Or to his bunion, either.
Not very likely, for at that moment, Bullwinkle's hoof, bunion and all, was reposing on a velvet cushion in the midst of a scene of barbaric splendor. Unfortunately, Bullwinkle couldn't see any of it. He was still unconscious. And then the mist slowly parted before his eyes.
Where am I?
I just knew he'd say that, Hadley.
Let's get out of here. He's coming too.
Boy, Rocky, what a dream I had. I dreamed it... must have done the room over while I was asleep.
Does it please you, Master?
Kind of wild wallpaper, Rocky, but... Hey, you're not Rocky.
I am Kit Mala, oh Master.
Kit Mala? Oh, of course. I'm still asleep.
You are awake, oh Lord of the Universe.
Lord of the lady, you're in the wrong dream. I'm Bullwinkle Moose.
Praise be.
Glad to know you, Miss Praiseby.
And now I must tell my father, the king, that you have returned to the living.
Yeah, and boy, this is living. Best hotel I was ever in.
Is there anything you require, oh great one?
Well, if I could just have a cool drink of... Man, that's what I call room service.
His Majesty King Bushwick the 33rd.
The door was flung open, and into the room strode a strange-looking king, followed by a sinister headsman wearing a large axe. Well, it looks as if this story might be a short one after all.
Yeah, by about that much.
We'll find out what happens next time in Block Party or The Happy Headsman. Last time, you remember, Bullwinkle woke to find himself in a magnificent apartment with his weather forecasting Bunion perched on a velvet cushion.
Boy, this is the life.
But Bullwinkle wasn't so sure when the door opened and a strange-looking little king entered.
Greetings, O fount of wisdom.
Where?
That's you, Jack.
Oh.
We have brought you from your own land to advise and counsel us.
How come that?
On account of your fortune-telling Bunion is how come that, friend.
My Bunion?
Praise be.
Hey, what's this all about?
Hand me that great scroll, Peruna.
And from the enormous document, King Bushwick read Bullwinkle a fantastic story. It all started some years ago when a U.S. Navy destroyer was passing a small tropic island. On the fantail of the ship stood a fearless figure alert and ready beside a row of sinister containers that looked like garbage cans. Of course, in reality, they were powerful death charges. Suddenly, the command came.
Fire one.
And Seaman Amos Bushwick fired now, wait, that's not a death charge, that's...
Yeah, it really is a garbage can. You never can tell, can you?
Fire two.
Again and again, Seaman Bushwick swung the heavy cans, emptying them with true Navy skill and accuracy. All except the last one.
Man overboard.
Of course, an intensive search was made of the area, but Amos failed to turn up, and so was listed as lost at sea. But in reality, he was very much alive.
Hey, here I am.
Too late, the Navy vessel sailed away, never to return.
Okay, just for that, I'll stay here.
And the castaway lost no time in making himself at home on the tiny island. First, he named it after his old hometown.
I hereby name you New Greenpaint.
Then he did everything he could to make the island a little Brooklyn in the South Pacific, including language lessons.
Okay, you guys, what's this?
Omaha.
Nah, this is a bird. Now say after me. Boyd.
Boyd.
Goyle.
Goyle.
Worm.
Worm.
Jerk.
Jerk.
All right, let's solve it. Okay, wise guy, what was that?
Joink.
All right, already.
So appreciative were the natives of all this that they made Amos King of New Greenpoint, and he took the name of King Bushwick of 33rd Avenue.
Bushwick 33rd for short.
And for his coronation, his loyal subjects presented him with the greatest gift at their command.
Observe, your majesty, genuine oogle egg.
No, kid. Well, let's scramble it.
But strangely enough, when the eggshell was cracked, the only thing that emerged was a small slip of paper.
What is this, a gag?
No gag, King. This genuine fortune egg from genuine oogle bird.
Oogle bird?
Yes, high on a mountain top above New Greenpoint sat that strange and legendary creature, the oogle bird, so called because of its strange cry. The oogle bird laid only one egg a month, but that one was a whopper. So large were oogle eggs that they always fell out of the oogle bird's nest and rolled down the mountainside where they were sought eagerly by the natives, for each one had a real, honest-to-goodness fortune inside it.
This is all very interesting, if a trifle long. But what's it got to do with me and my fortune-telling Bunion?
Oh, that's simple. You are our new oogle bird.
I gotta be a bird?
Well, it looks as if Bullwinkle has a tough job ahead of him.
Yeah, especially if I gotta grow feathers.
We'll find out next time in The Wizard Biz, or Bullwinkle Lays an Egg. Well, it looks like those two old buddies, Rocky and Bullwinkle, will never get together again, for Rocky is adrift in a life raft with Captain Peter Wrongway Peachfuzz.
Sailing eastward into the sunset.
Oh, boy.
While Bullwinkle Moose is miles away on the tiny island of New Greenpoint, talking to its king, Bushwick the 33rd.
The 33rd.
Oh, pardon, Toity-Toid. The king had just told Bullwinkle about the fabulous oogle bird, which lays only one egg a month. But what an egg that is. Each one contains a fortune that foretells the future. For instance, some years ago, an oogle egg said,
If you want to make some moolah, manufacture hoops that hula.
As a result, kids all over the world bought hula hoops stamped made in New Greenpoint. Another time, an oogle bird fortune read,
Make a flag, and don't be late, with 50 stars, not 48.
So when Alaska and Hawaii were given statehood, the happy citizens waved brand new flags marked Made in New Greenpoint. Of course, the oogle bird also gave out some other interesting predictions, too.
Next Friday, when the game is through, Yankees 7, Boston 2. Bet your shirt on Noah's Ark, running in the 5th at Belmont Park.
And as a result of wise investment based on the oogle bird's information, the little island of New Greenpoint became fabulously wealthy. There were 2 chickens in every pot and 2 cars in every garage, even in garages meant for just 1 car. Ah, but that was last year. Today, everything is different. The people are poor. They don't have 2 cars in every garage. They don't have 2 chickens in every pot.
We don't even have a pot. And a Wado master, we're facing disaster.
Well, that's terrible. What happened?
Somebody stole the oogle bird.
Somebody stole the oogle bird.
Look through these here binoculars, so wise. One of the oogle bird's nest is empty.
Maybe it flew away.
Oogle birds can't fly.
Then maybe it walked.
Was stolen.
Yeah, I see your point.
And so because of your predictory Bunion, source of all knowledge, you are not a substitute wizard of new green print.
I am, huh? Well, I guess I got something to say about that.
And what do you say?
I say I'm the substitute wizard of new green print.
And so a short while later, high atop Mount Pitkin, Bullwinkle reposed in the ooglebird's nest with a pad and pencil.
But really, my Bunion just gives the weather for...
We'll be back soon, old lamp of knowledge. You better get with it.
Or what?
Or else...
So as night fell over Mount Pitkin, Bullwinkle tried desperately to peer into the future. But the only picture he could see didn't help him a bit.
Gee, I can't even remember what day tomorrow's gonna be.
Meanwhile, miles away, Rocky and Captain Peach Fuzz were paddling aimlessly until the sharp-eyed squirrel spotted a dark shape through the gloom.
Captain, look there!
Bless Bess, Rocky. It's an island.
Yes, through a completely outrageous stroke of fortune, the tiny life raft was drifting right by the island of New Greenpern.
Come on, Captain, let's paddle!
And our friends paddled with might and main for hours. But when dawn broke over the ocean, the island was no nearer.
What do you suppose is the matter, Rocky?
Well, for one thing, you've been paddling with the wrong end of the paddle.
Oh.
And for another, the current is against us now.
It was true, the ocean current that had carried the raft toward the island was now carrying it farther and farther away. Well, be with us next time for Riptide Rocky or Drips Adrift. When we left Rocky and Captain Peach Fuzz last time, they were desperately paddling against the tide, trying to reach the tiny island of New Greenpern.
It's no use. We're drifting farther away, Captain.
And look, I've worked so hard my little paddle is worn to a nubbin.
Well, maybe if we had a mast with a sail on it, we could make some headway.
Well, we're in luck, Rocky. There's a mast in one of these compartments here.
Well, let's get it out.
Seems to be stuck, but I'll get it.
Attaboy, Captain.
Little did Rocky know that the handle Captain Peach Fuzz was tugging was in reality an underwater plug that would deflate and sink their life raft in a matter of seconds.
I think it's coming out now, Rocky.
Meanwhile, on a mountaintop high above New Greenpern, Bullwinkle had just shivered through a long, cold night. Suddenly the phone rang and Bullwinkle answered it.
Hello, this is the substitute wizard of New Greenpern speaking.
Hello, great encyclopedia. This is King Bushwick. You got a prediction ready for us?
I've been trying to tell you, King. My Bunion just predicts the weather.
Well, if that's all the better you can do, let's have it.
Well, let's see. My Bunion says today fair and warmer with lots of sunshine.
And of course, Bullwinkle's Bunion was right as far as it went. High on his mountaintop, it was warm and sunny. But at the lower altitudes of New Greenpern, things looked a little different.
Hey, you out of your skull, Wiz? It's raining cats and dogs down here.
Well, what do you think of that?
I think we're due to get a new wizard very soon. Go get him, Perona.
And the giant headsman started off on his grim mission. Meanwhile, back in the shark-infested waters, Captain Peach Fuzz was still struggling with the handle of the life raft.
Are you sure it's the right handle, Captain?
Certainly, Rocky. It says right here, danger, deflating plug. See?
Put it back in, Captain!
Too late, for at that instant...
Hang on, Rocky, we're moving!
Sure enough, the jet of escaping air was driving the life raft through the water faster and faster until, just as the last bit of air left it, the deflated raft beached itself on the shores of New Greenpern.
Well, Captain, you lucked in again.
Embarrassing, isn't it?
And look, I guess the natives saw us coming. Looks like they're throwing a party.
Sure enough, it did look like a festive occasion. Everybody was wearing funny hats and broad grins, all except for the guest of honor.
I'm kind of glad you didn't work out, Wiz. We haven't had a beach party for months.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Smile, Cookie.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a wet blanket.
Hokey smoke, Captain, that's Bullwinkle. We gotta save him.
But we're outnumbered 100 to 1.
Yeah, well, we do.
We'll use tragedy, is what?
What do you have in mind?
You sneak around and get ready to cut Bullwinkle loose.
Yeah?
I'll get a big club and charge right at him. In the confusion, you should be able to get away.
Yeah, but how about you, Captain? They'll capture you then.
Oh, I hadn't figured that part of it. Well, let's do it anyway.
Gee, you're brave, Captain.
Not really. I just can't think of anything else.
And so Rocky crept up close to Bullwinkle and prepared to cut him loose. The captain seized a large club and with a shout of...
George!
Ran right into a tree, knocking himself unconscious. In a twinkling, all three of our friends were bound tightly.
Hey, something new, fellas. We're gonna have a triple feature. 2 main attractions and 1 short subject.
Well, how will our heroes escape this deadly trap?
Gee, I'm scared.
Oh, I'll think of something, Rocky.
That's what I'm scared of.
Be with us tomorrow for Blood and Sand or 3 for the show. Well, on the tiny island of New Greenpoint, Rocky and Bullwinkle have finally had a grand reunion, thanks to a plan of Captain Peachfuzz's, which, of course, turned out the wrong way. Now they're all tied tightly and at the mercy of King Bushwick the 33rd. 33rd. Our friends are guests of honor at a New Greenpoint block party.
Only question is, who goes to the block first?
But why execute us?
Because your friends are his.
Well, what did Bullwinkle do?
Nothing, that's what I did.
That's just it. He was our substitute wizard, see?
Bullwinkle, a wizard.
On account of my weather forecasting bunion, Rocky.
But as a substitute for an Oogleberg, he's a terrible flop. And our law says there's only one punishment for a wizard who don't whiz.
Bullwinkle was substitute for an Oogleberg?
Of course.
And Bushwick told Rocky and the captain about the legendary Oogleberg who sat on a mountaintop and laid eggs containing fantastic predictions.
Los Angeles is full of sorrow. Dodgers lose again tomorrow.
What happened to the Oogleberg?
It was stolen. Okay, Peruna, let's get going.
Now, wait!
And remember, keep your left arm straight and a back swing.
Hey!
That'll correct your tendency to slice.
Hey, Your Majesty, if we could find your Oogleberg, would you let us go?
Of course, naturally, but how are you going to do that?
Just follow the tracks.
Tracks? What tracks?
Those tracks.
Yes, the sharp-eyed squirrel had spotted some strange-looking tracks on the beach, but Bushwick didn't seem to care, for he turned to the headsman and said...
Okay, Peruna, like swing.
And as our friends cowered in mortal fear, the headsman swung his mighty blade...
Are you all right, Bullwinkle?
So far, yeah. But I'm kind of scared to nod my head.
Well, what are you guys waiting for? Come on.
Yes, the headsman's stroke had been intended merely to cut their bonds, and in a moment our friends were on the beach staring at the strange tracks.
As far as I can figure, these are the tracks of 2 Ooglebergs, Your Majesty.
2? Impossible, Jack.
Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky. There's only 1 Oogleberg in the world.
I don't care. There's 2 sets of tracks, and they lead right to the water's edge.
Oh, the poor boy.
What's the matter?
Oogles can't swim. It's a goner. Well, back to the stake, you guys.
Wait a minute. Maybe the Oogle was bird-napped.
Bird-napped? What, by another Oogleberg?
No, bird-napped by somebody disguised as another Oogleberg. Somebody who would use his fortune-telling powers for evil purposes.
Oh, come now, little friend. There's nobody in the world that nasty.
Little does King Bushwick know, for at that moment, high atop an island far away, the Oogleberg is chained to a nest, forced to turn out predictions for his captor. And who is the fiend responsible for all this? Who is the low-down no-goodnik who could carry out such a dastardly scheme?
Hello again, crime fans everywhere.
It is Boris Badenov, world's meanest villain.
Plus, at no additional charge, my partner in crime, Natasha Fatal. What does Lady Zoogaleg says, Natasha?
Oh, Boris, this is terrible.
So read already.
The Oogleberg says, happy day, Rocky Squirrel is on the way.
Raskolnikov. Is nowhere in whole world we don't run into that busybody?
Where we go now, darling?
Go! Bah! Don't be silly, Natasha. We stay and give Squirrel royal welcome.
Royal welcome?
21 guns.
And pressing a button, Boris unmasked a battery of cannons, all pointing out to sea and right at our approaching heroes. Don't miss our next exciting episode, Bullwinkle's Landing or Muscle Beach. Last time, you remember, Rocky deduced from certain tracks on the beach of New Greenpoint that the fortune-telling Oogle had been bird-napped.
And it looks like 2 sets of Oogle tracks.
Out of the question, kid. There's only 1 Oogleberg in the whole world.
Then how come this other set of tracks?
Beats me.
Yo, it's a real enigma.
A what, Bullwinkle?
An enigma.
What's that mean?
I don't know. I just made it up.
But at that very moment, on a lonely island miles away, the Oogle was being held captive by none other than your fiend and my fiend, Boris Badenov.
But, darling, how did you coax Oogleberg away from island?
Was easy, Natasha.
And Boris explained just how he had bird-napped the Greenpoint Oogle. A short time ago, passing himself off as past president of the Lompoc Birdwatcher Society, he had gained access to the Ooglebird's nest at the top of Mount Pitkin. But as he neared the nest, he underwent a surprising transformation.
Allow me to introduce myself, my dear lady. Charles Bullwinkle, star of stage, screen, and television. Let me take you away from this cold mountain top. Come with me to my nest in the Casbah. Come, fly with me, moi petite osseux. Well, maybe we better walk in state. Like you say, kiddo. Oogle, 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 oogle.
And so, blinded by infatuation, the Oogle Bird had willingly eloped with the disguised Boris. Once on his deserted island, though, things were different.
Okay, sweetheart. Honeymoon is over. Let's get to work. Never mind the baby talk. Lay an egg.
And Boris began to use the poor Oogle Bird for his own nefarious purposes.
And now for 64 grains of corn. What rich man will be away from his house at midnight tonight? Get message, Natasha.
Here it is, darling. Although against my will I picked him, Claude the Peister is your victim.
So that night, many miles away, Boris paid a secret call on a large mansion. Next day, the headlines blared the shocking news of an enormous jewel robbery at the De Peister residence.
100,000. Natasha, at last we really got it made.
And Boris's next question to the Oogle Bird was even more sinister.
Hey, short and ugly, what will be easiest bank to break into tonight?
And of course, the Oogle Bird had to answer.
The bank's address, you dirty cheat, is 1820 Flugel Street.
Sure enough, that night, Boris did break into a small bank at 1820 Flugel Street.
16 pennies and 2 buttons, darling. Not so good.
Natasha, it's not the amount. It's just being able to do a little something bad each day.
But Boris received a severe jolt when the bird's next prediction read...
The Oogle Bird says, happy day. Rocky Squirrel is on the way.
Oh, shut up, you beak.
Sure enough, a speedy boat bearing our heroes and King Bushwick were headed right toward Boris's hideout.
Are you sure this is the place?
Sure. Look, it's the only island around here with a mountain high enough for an Oogle Bird to live on.
Good thinking, Jack.
Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky.
But it looked as if their approach wouldn't go unchallenged, for Boris had trained a number of large guns on them, and as their boat reached the crest of a wave, Boris fired. Fortunately, as the shells sped on their way, our heroes slid into the trough of the wave, and the shells passed overhead harmlessly.
Boy, look at that, Rock.
You know, I don't think we're exactly welcome on this island.
Well, that is the understatement of the year. Oh, what crooked thing does Boris have up his sleeve now?
My elbow, what else?
Be with us next time for the Sandblasters or Big Bang on the Beach. Well, in their efforts to get the fortune-telling Oogle Bird back to New Greenpoint, our heroes and King Bushwick are just about to hit the beach of Boris Badanov's island fortress.
Do you think anybody spotted us yet, Your Majesty?
Oh, I doubt it, Rocky. The island looks deserted to me.
But at that moment, the tiny boat passed a series of signs floating in the water.
Welcome, friends, and don't be nervous. We'll give you our finest service.
That's mighty thoughty. Who's the sponsor?
The Bidewee Funeral Parlor.
Die now, pay later.
Yes, up ahead on the beach, Boris seemed to be doing some last-minute gardening. Actually, of course, he was planting a pattern of deadly explosive landmines in the sand.
Just call me Green Thumb Badenoff.
Tell me, Green Thumb, darling, how do we get out of Minefield?
Easy, Natasha. Just follow little flags.
And the two villains picked their twisting way through the minefield, picking up the telltale flags as they went. No sooner were they out of sight than Rocky's boat approached the shore with Bullwinkle at the helm.
Watch out for the surf, Bullwinkle.
The who?
The waves. Don't let the waves swamp the boat.
Tut, tut, Rocky. You are talking to an old riverboating moose.
You?
Certainly me. Why, many's the time I've shot the rapids in my... Oof!
I thought you were used to shooting the rapids.
Can't understand it. That's the first rapid that ever shot back.
Then, on a bluff overlooking the beach, Boris and Natasha watched as our friends struggled to drag their swamp boat to shore.
They're right at the edge of Minefield, Natasha. It won't be long now.
But at that moment, Rocky was saying...
We better split up, fellas. I'll go this way. Your Majesty go that way, and Bullwinkle go straight ahead.
Right, Rock.
And Rocky and King Bushwick separated, inadvertently leaving Bullwinkle to walk through a beach full of landmines all by himself.
You sure this will work, darling?
Of course, but just to be positive.
And the wily Boris dropped a large rock down on Bullwinkle's head.
Ooh! Boy, that is the biggest hailstone I ever see.
And the now groggy moose began to stagger back and forth across the beach.
I can't watch.
But oddly enough, Boris's plan had backfired, for instead of taking a straight course across the explosives, Bullwinkle lurched aimlessly from side to side, miraculously missing every landmine on the beach.
Did it happen yet, Boris? Boris.
Meanwhile, Rocky had climbed to a high point on the island and found himself gazing at Boris's hilltop hideout.
Golly, I'll bet we find the Oogle Bird in there. Oogle Bird! Where are you? Oogle! Why don't you answer?
Little did Rocky know that the Oogle Bird was high above him, tied to its nest and gagged so it couldn't make a sound.
Oh, Oogle!
And at that moment on the other side of the hilltop, Bullwinkle heard Rocky's cry.
Oogle!
Hot diggies, it's the Oogle Bird. I'll answer him. Oogle, oogle, oogle!
Hokey smokes! Sounds like the Oogle Bird's right over that hill. Oogle, Oogle!
Oogle, oogle, oogle!
And our two friends slowly crept up on each other through the underbrush, each thinking the other was the Oogle Bird.
Oogle!
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 Oogle! Gotcha! Rocky!
Bullwinkle!
But I thought...
Well, that's certainly one on me.
Yeah, and here comes another one on you.
What?
Looky there!
Sure enough, bouncing down the mountain straight at our heroes was an enormous boulder. Closer it came, and closer, and closer.
You know, I really think you like these scary endings.
Don't miss our next episode, The Brave and the Boulder, or To Each His Stone. While in their search for the green-part oogle, Rocky and Bullwinkle succeeded only in capturing each other. Then as they turned, they saw a huge boulder rolling down the mountain toward them.
Look out for that rock, Rock!
Hey, look! That's no rock! It's an egg!
An egg?
And look, there's a message inside it.
What's it say?
When you get this fortune egg, you'll climb the hill and shake a leg.
Well, come on, Rock.
And in a few moments, our friends had reached the top of the hill where Boris had tied and gagged the Oogle Bird right in its nest.
But the Oogle managed to lay an egg and roll it out to us. Pretty clever, eh, Bullwinkle?
Yeah, for a bird brain, it's pretty smart.
Boris, you hear that, Oogle Oogle?
Duh, they found the bird.
What now, darling?
What else? It's time for fiendish plan.
And Boris explained his latest fiendish plan. As soon as our heroes launched their boat, he would cross the beach to a huge cannon, and as our heroes sailed away, would sink them with one well-placed shot.
And best of all, Natasha,
Yes, darling.
I do it when their backs are turned.
Meanwhile, our heroes had just brought the Oogle Bird down the hill to the beach where King Bushwick the Thorty-Thoid was waiting.
Greetings, O repository of all knowledge. Likewise, O wizard. Now let's get started.
And the tiny boat started off for New Greenpoint. As soon as it had sailed, Boris and Natasha scurried toward the cannon.
At last, Moose and Squirrel's luck has run out.
Right, Natasha. You know, I never will understand how he could run through this minefield without getting blown up.
For that matter, darling, how can we?
How can we what?
Run through this minefield without...
Oh, boy. Natasha, stop!
Yes, in his haste to sink our friends, Boris had run into his own minefield and now stood transfixed with terror right in the middle of a beach full of high explosives.
Don't move, Natasha. I'll throw a little pebble instead. Natasha, next time I get fiendish plan, do me big favor.
What's that, darling?
Shut up my mouth!
And so it wasn't long before Rocky and Bullwinkle sailed into the harbor of New Greenpoint to the cheers of the natives and of their friend, Captain Peter Wrongway Peachfuzz.
Hooray!
They're over this way, Jack.
Oh, of course.
Well, I guess we better be leaving for home, King Bushwick.
Oh, sorry to see you go.
And goodbye to you too, Oogle Boy, Bird.
Uh-oh. The Oogle Bird wants to go with yous.
Yeah, it seems to have taken a liking to Bullwinkle.
But we need the Oogle Bird. He's our wizard. Who's going to make our predictions for us if he goes?
Hey, I think I know just the solution, Your Majesty.
And so the next day saw the installment of a brand new Wizard of New Greenpoint, Captain Peter Peachfuzz.
But Rocky, he's never been right in his whole natural-born life.
That's just it, Bullwinkle. I told him to do just the opposite of what he says.
Yes, from that moment on, every Peachfuzz prediction was taken backwards with great success.
Weather report. Fair and warmer, continued sunshine.
Get your umbrellas, boys. It's gonna rain cats and dogs.
Meanwhile, Rocky and Bullwinkle sail into the sunset with a valuable new friend.
That's an Oogle Bird prediction, folks.
Meaning what?
Meaning, be with us next time, won't you, if you're a boy or girl, to see the further adventures of...
Rocky the Flying Squirrel.